guys, Matthew Focus with Diamond V Photography. Welcome back to another tutorial here on Lightroom Classic. Today we're going to talk about some of the new updates they came out with. Just came out with a new update. When you look in there, they didn't change much from the looks. It's just when you look at right under the histogram, the bars changed a little bit. We'll dive in that here in a second. But let me see if I can pull that up real quick. Let's see. So the update, the newest update right now we're talking about is going to be, oh, that's Photoshop. Lightroom is going to be the 12.1 is the newest one that we have, which the last one was 12.0.1. Now we're at the 12.1 itself. Oh, let's dive into this and we'll show you what they've done different and the AIs that they added to this program. We'll jump over here to our picture here that we have. This picture I took a couple years ago of Hannah Lehman, an awesome model out of Dallas, Fort Worth area. Great girl to work with, sweet and stuff. So let's look at this, what we're going to be working with today. So we have all of our normal stuff here. They haven't changed anything in any of these tabs at all. It's stayed the same all in this area here. What has changed, like I was saying earlier, under the histogram right here, this bar here, so they added this right here to it, which is shows all your basic your tone curve, HSL, color grading, and all that is under that. Then you have your cropping, excuse me, your healing, your eye stuff. None of that's really changed. What really changed about this is this setting one I hear, your masking layers. And what they did, they added in people selection and background selection. Now beforehand it didn't have either of these two, and I was kind of wondering why they didn't do that from the get-go. I mean, it's a slow process trying to get everything added into it and stuff. So they just now come out with background selection and people selection. And what you can do with the people selection is actually just phenomenal. But we're going to start out, we're going to edit this picture from the get-go. Nothing else but using the people selection and the background selection. And then we'll jump in and crop it down and finish it off that way. Usually when I edit, I go by CCF, color, correct color finish is usually how I usually do it. But this time we're just to play with the new stuff, the new features in this program. We're just gonna edit straight from there. So we'll go ahead and click on background selection, and we're gonna, of course it's AI, it's not gonna be perfect. It gets you in the ballpark. So if you look right here, we hide that real quick, you can see her body comes down to here in the background, but it cuts part of it off. So what we can do is click on subtract, brush, and you just start taking all that out right there. Make sure my flow is not at 30%. Let's put it up to 100%. Get it out of there quick. Now we just come in here, take this out because I know this is all part of her. And we can get this looking pretty close right there. And now what we can do, we can actually go in there and make adjustments. I'm going to turn this off real quick. You can see the picture's already dark from the get-go. So we're going to brighten that background up a little bit and just bring it up until we can start seeing everything again, bringing back all those details and stuff. I go a little bit brighter than what I would want it to be, because I know I'm going to start editing in contrast and highlights and shadows and stuff, and start playing with that stuff, just like what we'll do in our basic stuff. So let's mess with bring our contrast and highlights in, bring those back out, mess with our shadows if we want, make it bright as we want or dark as we want. I don't want it too dark, so let's go right there. Let's see what this looks like before, after. That's already looking so much better because you can see so much more of that background. I'm not going to really mess with anything down here right on this for the backgrounds, the details and textures and stuff. We'll get into that in a little bit. This makes a little bit more adjustments. See, he bring up our whites a little bit, see what that does. Let's think about, let's go about 10 on this actually. I think 10 will look good. We can bring our blacks down a little bit. There we go. That's looking nice right there. Actually bump that to 20. Whoops, wrong way. -20, sorry. There we go. That looks a lot better. Now that background looks a lot better. You can see stuff in the background, because here's before. It was completely dark and stuff. And here's what we have now. Just by this new feature, you can do so much more with that background now. Now we can go into working on our subject or the person inside the image itself. We can click on create new mask, go down here to select people, and it's already as soon as the photo came up, it's already started looking for a person in the image. So we can click on that one, and then it starts giving us all this other stuff here that we can choose from. And now default is set entire person. You can go straight just for the face skin, body skin, eyebrows, the white part of the eyes, I can't pronounce that, the iris and pupils, lips, teeth, and hair. So we can do all that we want. We stick with entire person right there, create mask, and you already can see right here and right here, a little bit down here, it didn't quite get all of her. Of course, AI, so not hard to fix. Add brush, and we can just go in here and just add her back in, those parts back in real quick. It won't take very long. There we go. Now we can start making our adjustments to her. So we can brighten her up a little bit, take it back down. Let's go 0.50 on this. There we go. That looks nicer. And we can start messing with our contrast and stuff in here. Or bring it, nope, don't want to do that. Let's go see what 20 looks like. Not bad right there. Let's go -20 on the highlights. There we go. It's looking nice right there. Again, here's your before and after. Not really much done to her. We can actually hide that. And you can see not much right there. We're not looking at making drastic changes and stuff to her. Oh, real quick before I do get into that, let's go down to lens corrections, enabled, details, and let's drop our details because it's and sharpness, because its default is 40. So let's drop this down to 10 because we're going to add detail in on this stuff right here. I'm going to add it in small increments overall. So like right here, sharpness, we'll start that out at 10 on this first layer, because it's going to be multiple. You can get into multiple layers on this, on her. So go back to this, and we can just see what else we need to work on. Let's make a little bit more adjustments here. Let's bring our whites up, our darks in, and let's lighten those shadows up a little bit. Our whites down. Do our exposure at 0.20 now. Yeah, I think that looks nicer. Hide that mask. That looks a lot nicer. Right there. We could work on her legs and stuff in a little bit. So now we can go, let's work on the hair. Let's add a little bit more texture into that. Oh, so we can select person. Go right here. Let's go hair, create mask. And this right here, we're going to actually add more texture in here. So I'm going to bump this all the way up to 100. I'm probably going to put my clarity around 5. Let's see how that looks, because it's going to make it a little bit more shiny the higher you go. Because if I start bringing this clarity up, you can see how much brighter her hair is. Look at 100. Doesn't look natural. Bring this back down to 5 right there. And let's see what 10 looks like. It's not bad right there. It looks nice right there. You can already see the differences and stuff. So let's hide that real quick. And just a little bit, that small difference makes it right there. We'll bring our sharpness to 5. And we're not going to mess with anything else in here on that for her hair. We can now go to her face, select person again, and now we're going to go the face, her face again, create mask. You can see it did that again. It got a little bit onto her hair. So what we're going to do is again subtract brush, and let's get rid of this part here. We don't want any of that in there. And now we can just make our little bit changes here. I know I want 5 more on the sharpness. Not gonna do much. We're not gonna mess with the clarity that much on this, because her skin don't want pores showing and stuff. Let's bump up the texture. Let's go 20 on the texture. Zoom in on her face. And just subtles, if you watch right here, especially like this area, just subtle differences here. All right, let's bring those shadows down a little bit more so we can see her face. Actually, let's bring the whites up real quick. Bring the darks down. There we go. And then we can do our shadows. We can do that about 20. So zoom out, make sure it doesn't look well. Yeah, because her hair right there is making it look odd. So let's go back here and let's bring this down to 20 and 20. It still does that a little bit because her hair's right there. You can see the hair's lined right here, then plus her pupil and iris right here. It's kind of throwing the image off a little bit. So let's take this down to 10, 10, and 10. That's a little bit better. You can still somewhat see it, but it's not as bad. All right. So now let's work on her lips. Select here. See, I'm working at the head going down. Next, we'll do the eyes here in a second. Ooh, why did that do that? We can fix that here in a second. All right, so we do have a little bit color in there. Let's bring that red out a little bit more. Let's go 20 actually. And let's add a little bit more texture to it. 60. We'll add a little bit of contrast. Let's go 5 on the contrast and maybe -5 on the highlights. How that looks. That looks a lot better right there. Get rid of this one spot right here real quick. Slowly bring that down. There we go. All right, let's work on our eyes now. All right, let's find. Oh, that's eyebrows. Let's do eyebrows because that's part of eyes. We want to be able to see those make out the hairs too. So we're gonna bring up the texture and bring our clarity to about 20. You already can see the difference in it right there. That just makes it a lot more sharper and a lot nicer. Let's bring this to 5 sharpness. Now we can go to the actual eyes themselves. Oh, there's a couple of different selections for your eyes. The white part of the eyes and then the pupils. Let's go with the pupils. And now we are going to just bring this down to about 0.10. That's a little bit of a change. Let's go 0.20. There we go. Right there. And that looks nice there. We'll bring up our, add another 5 to our sharpness. And make it that area nice and sharp. Now, when I do the eyes, the rest of the eyes, the white part, I will only probably just do the sharpness on it, just so we can get those nice sharp lines right here. So let's bring that to 5. So notice how I'm only doing sharpness in increments of 5 on as we're building up, because it will compound over the layers on her. So let's close that out now, and that's what we have so far. The before again, and where we're at now. May need, let's do some work right here real quick. That's the hair. And let's take subtract, brush. Oh, nope. Subtract, brush. And let's take this out here. So that's doing funky things here. Let's make some, add some feather. There we go. Just doing some funky things around the head, which is not very fun. And we'll do the same thing here. Subtract, brush. There we go. That looks nicer. It looks more natural now. Let's move it down a little bit. And subtract. There we go. And this one here. Add in brush. We want the shoulders to look the same. Take our time on that, because that can be kind of a pain. All right, that looks a little bit better. Let's go make some adjustments on the hair real quick. And add in that right there, because you look at it and it's not all in it. So let's add that in there real quick. Right. There we go. It's looking better already. Looks a lot nicer right there. All right, so there's what we have so far. Okay, so let's go back over here. Let's see what else we have in here. Person. Got lips. Let's see here. Eyebrows. The eyebrows. Now we can do the body. Do her body, skin right there. Again, you can see where it's kind of overlapping on some of the clothes, so we can get rid of that real quick. Right there. Get rid of this here. Make our brush a little bit smaller. That looks good right there. Okay, so now we can actually bring her skin tone up a little bit. Try to match everything here. We're not going to mess with the clarity or texture here. We're going to just add another 5 here. Make it look a little bit nicer. And now, because when we add this, we can go select person. You notice there's nothing really for the rest of the body at all. So what we have to do is create a new mask layer, brush, and then we can go over her legs and shirt. So we want to do the legs and shirt a little bit separate, because these actually have some texture to it, where the shirt, it does not have as much texture to it. Oh, there we go. Brush. So now let's work on this here. If you have a Wacom tablet, it makes life so much easier. Let me switch over to that real quick, because it's like drawing with a pen then, instead of trying to fight a mouse. And yes, I jump around a lot on when I'm trying to do stuff like this, because it's just how I am. I don't know. Come on, bring it up. Yeah, I'll subtract that here a second. Now, when you're doing stuff like this, you want to make sure you try to stay off the skin as much as possible, because we're going to be adding texture and clarity to it, which is not necessarily good for the skin, because then you can start seeing pores and stuff. Let's finish the edge real quick, then we can make our brush a little bit bigger and get this knocked out quicker. Whoop. A little too much on that. Knock this out. There we go. Brush 2, come back up a little bit on my size. There. We'll come move it down a little bit. Bump this size up a lot more. Bring our feather down. We don't really need a feather now, because we're inside the leg. Nope. Bring this up. Oh, shoot. And you gotta be careful, because sometimes you do that. I'm gonna knock this out, then I'll fix that here in a second. So back to our subtract. This is the only bad part about this, some taste. And that one. Go back to a smaller brush. Bring our feather back up. We can actually just come in here like this and go over a little bit, then we just go in with our subtract brush and subtract that off there to refine it. Sometimes it's easier just to do that, especially on those tight areas, than trying to keep adjusting your brush size. Yep. Long brush. fix that here in a second. And every once in a while it does that too. Edit, undo that brush stroke. Let's undo these last couple brush strokes here. So there we go. Now we go with this one again. Oh, nope, that one. Adding. Get that in there. So reason why we're doing this, and I'll show you real quick, then we'll fill the rest of it in. So we'll come over here, bring our textures to 100. Our clarity, let's bring this to about 20. You can see right here just the difference in it alone. You can see the actual texture and the cloth and stuff. Let's scoot this over versus this area, which we haven't done yet. So let's knock that out real quick. Actually do this some on shirt too. See what that looks like. If you do notice right there how that is turning out, doesn't look as nice. So we can undo those right there. Well, one more time. There we go. All right, and that's looking pretty nice right there alone. Before and after, things just makes it pop out. And that's what you want when you're doing this. When you're making your subject, shooting pictures of people, you want them to pop out a lot more than you would the background, because your eyes are naturally drawn to that area. The brighter it is, the more likely they are to the eyes to focus in on it. So that's why you want to try to make them pop more. So let's look at here. Now the shirt, I think we can do some work on that. Let's add a brush layer to it now. Now, mind you, I haven't done anything else. I'm just working in nothing but layers right now. That's why we have so many different layers in here. So let's go that right there. Bring it down and actually zoom in on her a little bit. Switch back to the Wacom. And if you select a brush, then close out of it and not selecting anything on the image, it will automatically just delete it, which is not necessarily a good thing, but it's also not a bad thing. So let's go in here, get the edge done. A nice fine one. We can see what we can do to make that shirt work a little bit nicer, better for us. And we gotta be careful when we're working around the edge here, because we want to separate the clothing from the skin itself, because we don't want to edit them together on this. Actually see the light shining through her shirt. It's actually kind of cool looking. Yep. And down here. All right. Make this area look good. Bring this up now, since it's away from the skin. Get away from the skin as much as we can. Edges, like on this side, I'm not as worried about, because it's just the back part of the background. Now, okay, we can do a small section like this and sample it. See what it comes out to look like. Down to here though, just to make sure we have a good area of different shades of her shirt. I think from the white to the dark areas. And in between. So we can actually make it look a little bit better. All right, oh, let's bring the shadows down. Looks right there. Contrast and highlights. It's how was it? What was it? Oh. Let's see how that looks. Oh no. There you go. Go -10 on this. And 10 on this one. It's bringing up. Let's put sharpness at 5. Texture 50. And let's put clarity at 10. Let's see what that looks like before and after. Huh. Not bad, actually. All right, let's finish that up real quick and let's get everything else added into her shirt. Showing you everything that we have. There we go. Before, after, and make her pop out nicely. Oh, all right. Now all that's left really is cropping. So, depending on what you want to do with it and where you want to put it, I usually go 8x10. And for this, let's bring her up just a little bit right there. I'm not going to do anything fancy with her. With this image, it's just pretty much right there. So, put that up. Oh, there you go. That's all the new features right there. That's all I did with it. Is just use the new features in there and stuff. Now, of course, we can go in there with how we normally edit, then add those other parts into it and just make a phenomenal picture that way. But this wasn't about that. It's just pretty much showing you what the new stuff was, like all this, everything in here. That's all we were looking at, the background selection and selecting people. That's all we really looked at today, and used for our edits. And I don't know, I think it actually, just using that, made it a phenomenal picture. So let me know what you guys think about that. What do you guys think about the new updates for the for the new Lightroom? Again, thanks for coming by. Until next time, you guys have a great day.